Skye means so much to me. It
Because he
really
has a
does.
crush on Skye.
I did. I kind of went from Skye to Lance Pendleton to I don't know who is it right now. But
Okay, put me in the chat if you have any idea what John's talking about right now.
so, but the Skye, I took when the first time I got on Six Hammers and I saw this guy Skye Michaels, I just felt at home like a brother, and the whole purpose and the whole what his vision was with family and collaboration and love, I felt that. And so thank you, Skye. But I think everyone knows him. But what's incredible about Skye is that he has supported over 6,000 agents. He's empowered more than 30,000 entrepreneurs and agents around the country. He started with Heart Coaching. He was the former head of coaching at Compass. And he's just an incredible guy. And so welcome, Skye Michaels. Welcome.
Thanks, John. Did you kiss the cardboard cutout last night, or is that?
Well,
He didn't. He
I've had
didn't.
to
I think Deb and
replace.
I have proved we're your two fans.
Awesome. Well, it's
I
a
did. I did, Skye. I don't know
it's
if anyone took a picture, but I had some fun with that.
I think even Trish the Dish has kissed a Skye Michaels.
Well, it does. It feels like being home right now, you know. So when you come back to a group like this, seeing Tiger and a lot of other people, maybe I haven't seen Susie, and some people I see a lot. Some people I don't see as much. But John, it's and Tanya, I can't thank you guys enough for having me on. And Elizabeth, thank you for that beautiful meditation. It brought back. I don't know how many meditations I've listened to you do, but that was very meaningful to hear that again. It touched my heart. So
Elizabeth has graced us with her meditations on all of our coffee talks. We are incredibly grateful to have her with us.
Well, and again, to spend some face-to-face time with her. Sorry, Robert, I'm going to bring it up. Charleston. Okay, no, I know you're sick of us talking about it, Robert Hughes, but I'm going to say it. But it was so wonderful to spend some time with you. So, Skye, I'm going to start with the first question. The question is, what do you miss most about Compass? And I know I mean, and again, you started out as a manager and you kind of moved up, and then you were running. I guess Lance didn't do a very good job because they fired him and went over and took you. But so what do you miss most?
I miss most, obviously, the biggest thing I miss is I'm going to frame this in a way of like the vast majority of the people, right? Like I still have lots of clients that are at Compass, and so obviously like John, Tanya, Elizabeth, Joelle, like Robert, I still interact. It still feels like I'm at Compass in many ways because most of my clients are still Compass agents. I do have some non-Compass agents. I actually have some clients that are not even in real estate right now. And I think the thing that I've recognized like the most, and this is going to come out, it's like sort of a self-reflection, but my ego misses being in front of, hundreds of people at a time, or traveling to different, cities, and just being able to like be there for all the excitement, especially right now. I'm sure there's a lot of exciting things going on, and everything along those lines. I miss that like energy of the community. But at the end of the day, I think the best part is that I get to, I still get to feel it through my current clients. So, John, it's an interesting question because of the fact, like, like I said, I miss that like thrill of being able to like walk into a room, have 200 people in there, teach, coach, do that thing. But the thing that was negative about that is that you never knew what kind of impact you were going to have, or you never were able to go deep with people, which is what I love to do. So while it was great in the moment, and like I said, my ego sort of liked it, right? Like it felt really good. I never knew, did that have any kind of an impact on someone, or did that change someone's business, or did that change their mindset, their life? I definitely miss I don't miss like the pressure of the Six Hammers, in the sense of like, 4 years, 4 times a week, 6 a.m. East Coast, 6 a.m. West Coast. You know this now too, John, just and Tanya, from doing it the one time, like finding guests 4 times a week is a lot, right? So I miss that. I would be remiss if I didn't say I miss Emily, my partner in crime. And
Not me in your chat if you miss Emily.
We
Yeah.
all miss Emily.
uh, that we had such a beautiful partnership and collaboration in what we built with Six Hammers, and what the Six Hammer family will never go away, right? Like you guys on this call are evidence of that. It'll never go away. What we created with Six Hammers, and so I miss that, like that small, those elements of connection at times. Doing what I do now, John, it's like it's exactly what being a realtor is like. Being a realtor, there are times where
I'm all right. How are you?
you're lonely, so to speak, right? Where it's like you're alone with your thoughts, even though every day all you do is interact with lots of people. At night, like you're alone with your thoughts, and you're like the fears, the doubts, the questions. Did people enjoy that? Was that good? Did that have impact? Do people want to like participate in this? So, what I go through as a business owner now is exactly what you guys go through as realtors as well. So it's the parallels are so identical. So, but to answer your question, I miss the community for sure, but I am very lucky and blessed to have hundreds of people that are part of this new community that are part of Compass still. So I still feel like I'm at home.
Skye, so many have known your story, your back history.
Yeah.
I don't know that everybody knows that you're an NCAA athlete in high school. Can
Yeah.
you share a little bit about, how that cultivated some of your leadership skills?
Yeah.
I mean, being a teacher, definitely like this comes naturally to you. And I'm sure standing up in front of a classroom of a bunch of teenagers that sounds horrifying to me.
Staying in front of realtors, same thing.
Should I be horrified right now?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, but talk about a little bit about how your history, how you became the coach that you are now. What cultivated that?
So I'll go back into like my early days. Like, so I grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York. My mom she was a single mom, raised me and my 2 sisters. And we grew up pretty poor. I didn't realize we were poor until we filled out college application forms. So for me, not really having, I have a relationship with my dad, but he wasn't really present when we were growing up. So athletics for me gave me that, those male role models that I didn't really have inside my house. Coaches, Mr. Barn, I can tell you like names of people who changed my life right now through sports. And everything that I learned either from my mom or from sports. So, I had this really, I feel very lucky and blessed because I have this extremely strong feminine role model in my mom. And then I have this extremely strong masculine role models in my teammates and my coaches who sort of raised me, so to speak. And so in high school, my mom worked tons of hours and stuff like that. So sports became my like daycare, so to speak. Right. So every day after school, I just played sports. I played football, or I was on the track team in the wintertime, or then I rode crew in spring in high school. And it was a sanctuary. And the thing that I loved about sports, when you grow up poor, sometimes you feel that disadvantage. When you're on a playing field, everyone's equal. And it was a space where I could know that I could outwork someone, and money didn't really have an impact on my results. Performance had an impact, and drive, and all these things around waking up early, and everything that I sort of talk about, pushing yourself when you need to, recovering when you need to. I learned all of this through sports. And then in college, when I went to college, I always say there's one time in life you want to be poor, and that's when you go to college. I was very, very lucky because I was, we had lots of financial aid. I had a sports scholarship, but the guys I rode with, I went to Syracuse University, was on the crew team, Division I program, and the lessons I learned, waking up at 5 a.m. if anyone knows Syracuse, New York, it's not exactly a warm place. So when you're rowing on the water in March in Syracuse, it's winter and you're snowing and it's like you're chipping ice off the oars, and it teaches you lessons about life that when you go through that, you pretty much can go through anything. And the other thing it teaches you is also the value of community and team and brotherhood and, everything along those lines. So, one of the hardest things about leaving Compass was it felt like I was leaving my team, right? Like for me, the worst thing in my life would be letting one of my team members down. Right? I'll let myself down or, someone I don't know down, but I will never let my brothers down, my teammates from Syracuse or even college in high school.
Counting on you. Yeah.
At Compass, that, we felt like we were part of a team. And that was the hardest part of that decision of leaving, was like feeling a little bit like you're letting your team
You were
down.
abandoning the group.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I speaking personally?
Yeah. No, that's it. That was it. It was such a hard decision because of the fact that it did feel like that, at times.
I mean,
So,
we were devastated, but we were happy. I
Yeah.
mean, because I know that you're made for better things than just six hammers and compass. You
Yeah.
really are. And
well, and the pace
Better
of,
things than six hammers.
more.
Dare you?
well, and John, I think one of the lessons I learned is that, I sort of lost myself a little bit in the busyness and the hustle of working for Compass, like when you work for Compass, I don't know if we have any employees on this, like you work.
Is it working for Robert like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk? Is it?
Yeah. And again, no disrespect to the way that Robert works, but at the end of the day, it is extremely exhausting traveling around the country. It's extremely exhausting feeling like you're never ahead.
Yeah.
It's very, very tiring feeling like you're, basically one day ahead, and then, never had an email or, and then obviously the other big aha as well is having two kids who were, now 14 and 12. And like, these years I'm never going to get these years back.
Yeah.
And being able to being able to control my schedule versus having to travel, the way I was and execute with things the way we were, it just wasn't really bringing joy to my life anymore. And if anyone on this call, you were meant to live happy. You were born on this earth to be happy. You weren't born on this earth to work, to be stressed, to be unhappy, to, grind, to, answer emails all night, to go to sleep with a laptop on your lap. Right. And that's one of those things that I was falling into this world where I think I lost myself a little bit because all I was doing was either working or I'd come home and take care of my kids, but then basically be working while I was taking care of my kids. And I knew that was not the way I wanted to live my life, and I knew I needed to make a change around that.
So, what right now is your thing that gives you the most joy, your healthy, selfish time? Because it used to be this.
Yeah.
It used to be that. Okay. That's what it used to be right there.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is it still that?
Yeah. I still have all the things I preach in Six Hammers. I still do all that stuff. I actually have a meditation coach right now. So I'm really, Elizabeth, you'd be really happy, proud of me. I'm really trying to dive into meditation. And then the other thing that is, I'm a member of a golf club, and it was a big aha when in 2023, I probably played 6 times. And if anyone here is a member of a country club, that's a very expensive round of golf, but it was also a reflection of the fact that this thing I loved to do, I wasn't doing. And so for the other healthy, selfish thing is every Friday, I try to play golf, not right now in the wintertime, but every Friday I try to play golf. And that's been something that is, when I made this transition, it was like a commitment to say, I want to actually make sure I'm doing things that I love to do and that are relaxing and enjoyable and with friends who are near and dear to my heart. So every Friday I try to play golf, and I was able to accomplish maybe not every single Friday, but almost every Friday this year I've been able to play, and it's been an absolute joy. So, and obviously the shitting on a toilet reading is still a pleasure. So for anyone that wasn't part of Six Hammers, I always talked about how
We
that's a
we
really great.
noticed that after that shirt came out, you really stopped mentioning it in on the first Tuesday or the first one of the month.
Mhm.
That wasn't the intention. It was all out of love, brother.
Yes, I know. I loved it. I thought it was one of the funniest moments when I saw that. So,
You
uh,
notice not all of us wear that t-shirt.
yes, Tanya, we know there's only one that wears it.
Yeah,
What
I
would you
sleep with
say,
it.
Skye, is one of your pivotal moments that has, shaped where you are today and who you are?
Pivotal moments that shaped who I am today. Probably the decision to get divorced. For anyone on this call doesn't know, like I call myself like happily divorced. My ex-wife and I, we were married for 10 years. And we have two beautiful kids. And in those 10 years, we had probably 5 therapists. We had challenges, we had issues. It was one of those situations where I found myself, basically, I sold real estate. And when you sell real estate, you can sort of hide inside of real estate, right? So I found myself like pulling up to the house and then like, all right, who can I call right now before I go in so I can like delay going in? Or just for anyone on this call, maybe that has experienced this, like that sort of that pit in your stomach when you have to walk inside of your own house because it's like tense or unhappy or just not enjoyable, right? And you go through having 2 kids, and especially at the time, young kids, you go through this game where you're like, oh, well, we'll stay together for the kids. When the kids graduate, I'll get divorced then, right? Because you don't want to not see your kids every day. And there's societal pressures around it, right? There's a lot of shame that's associated with it. So it was a defining moment because of the fact that it was a moment. I think I've lived a lot of my life as a people pleaser, right? Where a lot of what I do is meant to keep other people happy, even if it means that I'm putting myself in a diminished state. It was a defining moment. I went to individual therapy to get to this point. And it was finally, I got to a point where I said, you know what, my life matters. And the reality is I am such, when I walk in that door, I am not showing up as my true self to my children or my ex-wife, my current wife at the time even. And I just had to turn myself off when I walked in the door. And I don't want to live a life like that, where when I leave the door, I turn on, and when I walk in, I turn off. And it was a defining moment because of the fact it was a recognition that there are going to be times where you have to make decisions in your life that are good for you, even if it means that other people aren't exactly happy about those decisions. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. And, again, the decision to leave Compass wasn't exactly, a decision that was going to make a lot of everyone else happy, but I had to do it for myself, and for my kids as well. And now I get to be a full 100% dad, 50% of the time. And again, we have a great divorce because we actually do our holidays together, and we have 50-50 custody, but my daughter's at my house every day because I live across the street from the school. So again, it's like one of those situations where when I am in front of my kids, I am me rather than shutting myself off or having to diminish myself in order to keep the peace and keep the calm. And that was one of my defining moments, for sure. So
Big one.
I carry that forward, and it was definitely, we learn lessons through life, and anytime usually something goes bad, I usually am falling back into the people pleasing mode and all right, let me make everyone else happy, even if I'm not exactly happy. And then it's like, oh yeah, I remember that lesson and I got to relearn it over and over and over. So.
And do you think that, so you say, you had to do that for yourself, but we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
When you show up as your best self, you're actually helping those around you, right? So it's probably not great for your kids to be living in an environment that was so tense. So you still kind of did things for them because you have to treat yourself first.
That's exactly right. And I remember one of my aha moments was my ex-wife was when we were married and towards the end, and we hugged for some reason. My two kids were sitting there saying like in eating breakfast, and they were like, "Ew, what are you doing?" They didn't
I hadn't
see us,
seen you hug.
they didn't see us hug. And I was like, in my
Wow.
head, holy shit, like this is not right. Like
Well,
I'm
they weren't
actually
seeing a marriage.
they didn't know. They were seeing two people coexist in the same house. But
Yeah,
we were teaching them that's what intimacy is.
right.
That wasn't right. And again, it's one of those situations where, you know, sometimes we feel like we're doing things for other people, but we're actually hurting them even more in that whole process. So,
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. My parents were divorced, so I relate, in different ways. So thanks for sharing.
yeah,
So,
cool.
okay, so you do a lot of like Abraham Hicks,
Yeah.
Mel Robbins, like who's your favorite like guru that gets you motivated and keeps you going on that positive?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer that we all have masculine and feminine energies, which has nothing to do with gender. It has everything to do with the type of energy, right? And I believe that we need to feed both sides of us. Like when we have balance, if you're too much on the one side, right, then you're imbalanced, or if you're too much on the other. So you got to feed both sides. And at times, one can take over and, be stronger. So on the feminine energy side, obviously I listen to Abraham Hicks probably every day. Sort of part of my morning routine. Either when I get to the gym, it's a 15-minute on YouTube. And some days it just sort of, is background noise. And some days it hits you and you're just like, like you connect with it. So if anyone,
We're ready to receive that message.
yes, you are ready. And it hits you and you're like, oh my God. That's like my feminine energy side. Obviously, the untethered soul is what I'm really diving deep into as well. And being able to like really, really dive into these two sides of us, right? The voice in our head, which is not you, and then your soul or you. On the masculine side, I'm a huge follower of Jocko, Jocko Willenick. If anyone
Stop
knows,
it.
yeah, I just, there's something about his voice.
There's his male crush right there, Tanya.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's got a great haircut,
Yeah.
But there's something about his voice, and there's something about also his humility in his strength, which is something that I gravitate towards, where it's like he's so humble and that piece of ownership is so powerful and so strong. And how can you be a strong individual while still being humble is something I try to aspire to, right? So those are my two sort of gurus, I would say, that I sort of follow. And I do believe that you got to feed both sides of your energy, not at the same time, because if you can tap into, sometimes you got to be that nurturing side, the more feminine energy side. Sometimes you got to be the more driven side, right? The more masculine energy side. And again, this has not gender roles. This is just types of energy. And you got to know when you need to tap into one or the other. So I like to feed both sides of that at different times. So
Yeah, that's great. And a great way to look at it, because I agree, Abraham Hicks sometimes just feels like background noise. And then sometimes it's the message is loud and clear and you know that, it is affecting you. So,
it
and
hits
then
you.
Jocko, I had never that I knew of really heard of Jocko until you started. That was the video we had to watch every
Yeah.
morning that we
I
weren't eating together. And,
Every-
and then I was like, wow, Skye really likes this guy.
Well, that little clip of the good video, which is like probably what, 3 minutes long, it really got me through my divorce because every time something bad was happening, I would just say, all right, good. Right. Like this is
Good.
gonna be good. And it's not to say like you're putting like a happy face sticker on a piece of shit. It's to say, what am I learning and growing from this situation? Right.
Yeah. Where are you
And
going to find the good?
exactly. So
That's great.
So I just got noticed that we had paid extra for the bigger Zoom account. No one over 100. So there's people trying to get in. So we will get that fixed next time. But
hey,
Skye,
pays to be on time, John. Pays to
yeah,
be on
I know. Yeah. When was the last time that you laughed so hard you started to cry? What was the situation?
Let's see. That's a good question.
I'm actually
Until you peed your pants.
I pee my pants.
That was the end of that question.
Yeah, that's not happened to me. Has that happened to you, Skye? Have you ever peed
No,
your pants? Okay.
No, I've never.
I think that's more of a girl thing,
Yeah,
Deb.
Not the
Yeah.
feminine side of you, Skye, that
yeah, no, it's never happened to me.
Maybe more
Yeah.
of a mom thing.
The last time I've laughed so hard, man, that's a good question. I love to laugh, first off. It's like I think everyone should laugh every day. Um, I hate to say this, it's probably off of like some stupid YouTube clip that I've like scrolled past and like I follow like Dave Chappelle cracks me up. The last time I've laughed, I'll give it, I don't remember exactly when, but probably 2 to 3 months ago or so, I was rewatching Dumb and Dumber, and I know, John, you're gonna love this. But I was with someone who'd never seen it. So I was like, oh, you got to watch this movie. And I'm like dying laughing before the scenes even unfold because I know it.
It's
And
such guy humor.
such a guy
Oh my
humor thing.
goodness.
It's so,
Yeah.
so stupid. It's so stupid, but yeah, it's so funny. So that's the thing. I do think everyone should laugh every day though. So if anyone on this call is like looking for something that is good for your energy, I don't know, pull up. There are times in my life where I've just watched a stand-up comedy clip of fill in the blank. It doesn't matter who your comedian is, but find a comedian that you can watch every day on YouTube or on Instagram and laugh every day. If you can laugh every day, it's a good thing.
That's a good win. for
Amen.
sure.
Good win. Good win.
It's also part of, people recovering from an injury or health. Laughter is really the best medicine. It really,
good.
really is.
So good.
Yeah. So
Okay, opposite that, do you have any triggers?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Victims.
Ah,
When someone's being a victim.
victim mentality.
It's I just for full disclosure, I just recently dealt with this with I hired, launched my business and got up and running. I hired a company to hire an admin. So I did all the right things, right? They did the interviews. I hired an admin and she was a lovely person. But the absolute wrong fit. And it really, if you've ever worked with an admin who was a victim, it's not a good situation. And so anyways, I luckily, I've worked through it. She's moved on. And she's, like I said, lovely person, just not what I needed. I need someone who, I'm not a taskmaster. I'm not someone who's going to say, here's the list. Did you do this? I want someone who owns their role. And luckily I've been able to find an amazing admin operations manager who is like changing everything. And it's just been life-changing. So one of my triggers is a victim, and I think some of this goes back into, probably like some of my marriage stuff and some of the, being an athlete, like no one I was surrounded by, there's not one of my teammates that had a victim mentality, so it's like when you encountered that, it was really difficult to deal with it. Probably my other trigger is, and again, it's negativity, like someone who is like just really bought into negative things. And again, I think the recent presidential election was so difficult to walk through because of, and not on, I'm not saying on anywhere, but there's so much negativity everywhere. It was just so difficult to like be able to like navigate through that. And I literally just disconnected from it all because of the fact it wasn't good for me from an energetic standpoint. And at the end of the day, it was just such a shame that we got to this point where there's so much negative energy in that world. So that for me, probably being a victim and negative mindset are my two triggers where I'm like, I just want to walk away, and not deal with it. So
How do you handle that when it's one of your clients?
yeah, the first part is the first part is digging deeper into like what is the ownership side of it, right? Is it something that I can impact or not? So the biggest question you ask yourself is this, am I chasing something that's impossible or am I chasing something that's possible? So if I'm working with someone that is a victim, that is negative mindset, etc., there's a world where I'm just not the right fit for you. Right?
Or you're the exact person they need to spend more time with.
Now that would cross over into the possible where I feel like I can actually impact this person, right? And there's been very few people that I feel like I can't. There have been some people I have walked away from. And anyone on this call that sells real estate, one of the most powerful things you can learn is the word no, right? Like protecting your boundaries is so incredibly critical because when you say no, you're saying yes to yourself, usually, and you're saying yes to an unknown opportunity that will make you feel alive and aligned. So there's nothing I like more, Tanya, than having someone who's in a bad space that I know I can impact, right? That's different than having someone who is a victim. Sometimes, again, anyone can change, but sometimes it's not going to be worth my energy and my space to change that. I've encountered very few people. I think the nice thing with what I do, people sort of gravitate to you that are similar to you. So most people don't really gravitate towards me if they're in a negative mindset anyways, because they're like, that guy's too crazy. He's so
I think
happy.
you're unrealistic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's just
Yeah,
unrealistic.
he just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Right.
But that's for me is like one of those things that just there's nothing better in my world than having someone change and be impacted and grow.
So Skye, I forget, it was probably 2 years ago in an interview you had, I forget who it was, but he asked you the question, or the question was posed, what don't you want to talk about? Who remembers that interview? Type me. I mean, and so Skye,
Yeah.
what don't you want to talk about?
So I'll never talk about my dating life, John, publicly.
Publicly.
He may have asked you that once before. As I
Yeah.
recall.
So I will never talk about my like dating life on my personal side on that. That's like just a no-go, like not necessary. That's my own private little space that I like to maintain. Let's see, what don't I like to talk about? Beyond that, I'll talk about anything, right? Like I think being vulnerable, it's actually sometimes I think we feel being vulnerable is like this sign of like weakness, or we want to hide from our faults and our downsides, right? Like our negative sides. But I actually love talking about, hey, getting divorced. I love talking about having a bad hire, right? It's like one of those things that it's really, really critical that we actually are open and vulnerable in safe spaces, right? Obviously when I was going through that, I wasn't getting on a Happier Human call saying, oh my God, my admin is killing me right now. Right. Like that's not an appropriate space to talk about it. But in a safe space like this, it's great to be able to talk about the things that you're going through in a way that you are owning it and learning from it.
Mhm.
So for the most part, besides my dating life, like I'll talk about anything. And it's one of the situations that, again, there's so many things that I failed at. And when you can embrace failure as this great, beautiful thing, and this beautiful thing, this mess of life is messy. And when we embrace the fact that it's messy and that is what makes it beautiful, that's when we start having fun in it. That's when we start floating through it. Like for me, problems come up, and for the most part, I just float over top of them because of the fact that I can detach from this like voice in my head. I can detach from the emotion of it, and I can like say, okay, what is the solutions here? And or B, what are the lessons I'm learning here? And I love failing, John, because of the fact that it's how you grow, you know? So my most recent failure with this admin, it was a reminder to me of like, I was probably people pleasing a little bit. I was not like being hard enough and voicing, my voice was not being strong enough. And that I think I probably, had a month too long where I should have made a switch. I knew in my gut, I knew it wasn't the right fit. And I should have made that switch.
Yeah.
But I didn't, so again, it was a little bit of a people pleasing scenario that I was reminded of like, oh yeah, that's my growth opportunity, right? I got to grow there. So, again, I think if anyone on this call, you got to get comfortable with failure, enjoy failure,
It's the only
embrace
way
it.
you learn. It's the only way you
It's the
learn.
only way to learn. It's the only way to grow. And life is messy. And instead of being like mad about life being messy, be like, thank God it's messy. How much fun is it that it's messy? This is cool,
So
right?
talking
And it
about
changed.
messing up, Sky, I know one of the powerful things that I learned was the accountability groups that
Yeah.
you got with collaborating with agents around the country. Who do you have an accountability group? Because you're in a thing, and who are you kind of meeting with to help you in your career, in your growth, and your path?
Yeah. So the first thing I hired a meditation coach
Mhm.
was number one. The second thing is I sort of call my unofficial board of directors. So I have about four people that are just, the brothers basically to me, who I run pretty much everything by. And, it's one of those situations where these are people that I lean on, that I go to when I'm struggling with, that I am laying out like my plan for 2025, getting feedback from. These are people that can tell me anything. And I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me that. Even if it's stuff that's not like, doesn't feel good
Oh, I know
hearing.
the feeling. I know
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
someone tells me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's one of those situations, though, I think, where it's everyone needs that person that they can lean upon, and call it like your board of directors, or call it the, compass, for example. There's the board of directors. That is, these people are the people that Robert needs to listen to, right? Like Robert is the CEO, but he has a board of directors that are guiding him in the decisions and the things that he's doing. So it's one of those scenarios that everyone on this call, you need to have a board of directors or people that you can run things by in order to continue to grow.
Mhm.
Well, I think we are at time. We don't want to keep Skye all morning. We definitely appreciate you being here with us today.
Love being here. It's great. I do have a couple extra minutes, Tanya, if you want to take any questions from people or whatever you guys want.
Oh yeah, I think the group would probably love that. If you guys want to raise your hand, if you want to, or just unmute yourself and ask a question. Oh, I know we've got some people who want to talk to Skye. Come on.
I just want to say hi, Skye. It's been a while.
How are you doing, man?
What's up, my brother? How are you?
You. So good seeing you.
Likewise. I don't want to take up anyone's time here. Just wanted to say hi. It's always a pleasure. Keep you in my heart daily. You've done so much for me through the 6 AMers, and it carries on to every day of my life. So I appreciate you.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
So
I'm not.
Skye, Skye, this is Tanya Palmer. Hi.
Diane, how's it going?
So it's good. So how has your daily schedule changed from when you were on the 6 AMers? We realize the obvious, but are you, speaking and still traveling at all?
Yeah, I still speak, but I'm not traveling by design too much. 2025, I'll probably travel a little bit more. Part of it was just getting a company from nothing to where it is, right? Building content, making learning lessons, building a CRM, building a Kajabi or content management platform, so marketing, you name it. Like everything you're doing, Diane, in your real estate business, I'm doing the exact parallel thing in my coaching business. So traveling right now is not the best use of my time. So I've done very little traveling. And most of my speaking is virtual. I have done some engagements, but 2025, the goal is going to be to sort of add a little more scale to that and do a little bit more traveling. My daily schedule, though, it's really, really nice to have my mornings back. Everyone knows I love the 6 AMers, but 4 years, every Tuesday, every Thursday, no matter if you're in California or in, Chicago or wherever you were, having that pressure of waking up and hopping on a call with hundreds of people at 6 a.m. East Coast time and then 6 a.m. West Coast time, twice a week. It was a lot of pressure on my week. So now I still, Tanya and John, we were talking, and they're like, it's once a month. And
I don't know how you did this twice a week. And I think that's the consensus of probably everybody at Compass now that they've tried to take over your role and they have multiple people who cannot do what you did as one person. So
because it's a job now. It wasn't a passion project that it was.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's really true.
Shannon, you had your hand raised. You got a question?
That was exactly well said, John. I mean, it was his passion project, not a job, and that's what made the difference with everything. But it just goes back to a bet you and I had a while back, and from what I heard, for me to get my tea time with you, I need to schedule a trip to Philly for a Friday to be
There you go.
at the
Any
country
Friday.
club on a Friday.
Exactly. Any Friday except the wintertime. And wintertime, I'm going to come to you in San Diego, and then we'll go on Friday in San Diego.
And I'll come
Okay,
down too.
we
There you
can
go.
do both. Sounds great. Thanks for taking time to come on here, Scott. I really
Ah,
appreciate
man,
it.
it feels
You're
like home. It feels like a high school reunion right now.
you are
Rosie,
truly a brother to me.
You're my
Rosie,
brother.
you got a
Great
question,
haircut.
Rosie? Sorry.
Good morning. It's so good to hear your voice and see
Oh,
you.
so good seeing your name and your voice as well.
Okay, so my question is there's a couple who, how, and what inside of it, but your board of directors, your trusted people that you go to that you know you can lean on and rely on, like how did you ask them? Who did you pick? Why did you pick them? And how did you ask them, like, hey, this is what I need?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the first guy is a guy named Andrew Babson, and Andrew he runs an absolutely incredible financial advising business. So nothing to do with real estate, but he is a person that is heavily invested in like energy work and doing things in a different way. And just anything he says, I respect. And we've gone to a couple like educational retreats and stuff like that together. So he's the first one. The other second guy is a guy named Justin Gall. He actually owns and runs a Keller Williams over here in the Philadelphia area. And we're just, again, it's like he's an ex-athlete. He's just like a brother to me. And then the third guy is a guy named Jeff Angelucci, who runs Guaranteed Rate here in Philadelphia. And Jeff and I just so everyone knows, I sold a tremendous amount of real estate. I've sold over 1,000 houses in my career. And Jeff was my like partner because every single one of my clients used him. So we basically built our businesses together as we were sort of growing up in the real estate space. And so those are the three people that I go to for advice, guidance, struggles, etc. If you're looking to create a board of directors, this is a great time of year to do this, by the way. Try to find someone who you respect, someone who's going to challenge you, right? You don't want to have someone who's a yes person or like my mom. I could say anything to my mom and my mom would love it. She'd be like, oh my God, that's awesome. I don't want someone to say, that's awesome. I want someone to say, that's actually not good. Like you need to change. You need to do this differently, right?
I want some honest feedback.
Honest feedback. My mom just loves me so much. She just wants
She loves everything you're going to do. Of course.
anything.
Sounds
Yeah,
great.
exactly.
Yes, do
There's
that.
a balance, though. There's a balance. It's not all shit that you're telling. There's a balance sometimes.
That's right. That's right. And again, if they think it's great, they're going to say, that's awesome. This is great. So I really recommend though, have someone in your industry, and then the other two people should not be in your industry, in my opinion, right? Like, so Jeff, for example, is adjacent to real estate, but not in real estate, right? Justin is real estate, and then Andrew has nothing to do with real estate.
And they have similar passions, it sounds like.
Similar, all athletes, so that sort of carries through. All driven individuals, all kind, all passionate about health and wellness and balance and family and all those things. So I do think it's important to get people that share similar values, but get someone who is going to challenge you and is going to push you. So
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Rosie.
All right.
So what were those top?
What
were those top three things you said again? Challenge you in the industry, and what else? Honesty.
I would recommend someone in your industry, someone adjacent to your industry, someone outside your industry. Have someone who's going to be, push you, challenge you, and encourage you. So if anyone's looking just some quick hits of like what you should look for, that's what you want to look for.
Pierce, you got a question?
Yeah, man, great to see you. One of the things that I always appreciated about 6 a.m.ers while you were still there was that in addition to interviewing really great and interesting people, you gave them an opportunity to say more about what they're offering.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people in the chat who are asking about, your programs. And when I last saw you, you were telling me about them. And I thought there was some real innovation there. You want to share a little bit about that? How we can get more?
We've dropped the happier human link in there, and everyone should and join Happier Human every Wednesdays. It's $100 a month. Pawn, put the link in there again.
Yeah. So Pierce, and for everyone on the call, like this is where I'm at right now. There will be more programs coming out. Currently, I have 3 types of programs or offerings. The first one is traditional, not traditional. One, I call it flex one-on-one coaching because there are some people, like I'm actually sitting in one of my clients' offices right now. I actually coach their team. So a little bit of traditional one-on-one coaching. The second program is a 7-week coaching program called the Forever Real Estate Client, which in my opinion, it's a culmination of everything I've done in my career on how to actually build and run a real estate business that is geared to be future-proofed and geared to build a portfolio of people who are your clients forever, but are also your advocates in the marketplace. So CRM stuff, but going deeper than that. And then the third program, like John just said, is I'm really passionate on the fact that I think most of you on this call know what to do, but you probably block yourself because you're not happy, you're not being healthy, you're not connecting in human ways or whatever it might be. And so I call this third program the Happier Human program, which is basically a program designed similar to 6 Hammers, but a little different, and where it's really designed it's life coaching for the cup of coffee a day, $100 a month. Get part of a community. We interview great people, or I do a little much more direct coaching. The other difference as well is we're doing breakout rooms during the calls as well, so you're interacting with people. And I'm adding some other components in 2025 as far as each month we're going to have a challenge around, it could be around health or diet or real estate or business, so I'm going to try to add a lot more into that program as well in 2025 to even enhance it. And it's, again, I think it's one of those things that the other thing that I'm working on for 2025 is something I'm calling micro trainings. A lot of you on this call, you want to learn, fill in the blank about something in real estate, open houses, farming, social media, whatever it might be, but you don't want to take an 8-week program or a 12-week program or pay thousands of dollars, right? So each month I'm going to offer a micro training, which is going to be a 2-day training, 90 minutes a piece. Every training I do, by the way, I try to have tactical takeaways. So you're never just hopping on listening to some boring bald white guy talk for the whole time. You're actually doing stuff and getting stuff from it. So the micro trainings I'm going to do, open houses and farming are going to be my first 2 micro trainings, and the cost is going to be very affordable, trying to bring coaching to everyone, right? So anyways, so it gives you a little preview.
That's
I
awesome.
think we got time for one more question. Tori.
Hey, Tori.
There, Tori?
There you go. Hi. That was my question with what's coming next. If you guys aren't doing Happier Human, you have to do it Wednesday. It is just the best ever. And I love there's 2 chances. There's the morning one, yay, and then there's 11 o'clock. But it's been great. I've heard so many good things about your client for life. And do you run that as a calendar, or is it something that you do like do you have a session starting up, or how do you do your class?
So I'm actually I'm going to try to demo this with a team. I'm actually going to do it on a team level for one client. We're going to try to do it over 2 months for their team directly, but it'll be at the end of January is the next version of it that's going to run. I'll definitely make sure, and again, if you're part of Happier Human, I'm always going to make sure that you get discounts and you get, there's incentives to do the programming as well. So this way, you get double dip. But I really want to build, I'm really passionate about building a community of people that are all, like us. Let's be real. Like we all love each other. We all care about people. We all are positive. That's my passion. If we can build a coaching company that infuses that into everything, man, it's going to be fun. It's
Love it. Thank you so much. It's great to see you this morning, and everyone else too. This is great, John and Tanya.
Tori, as well.
Well, this has been fun. This has been great. Thank you so much, Skye.
Thank you. And if anyone has questions, feel free to email me. John, I think you can probably follow up with my email.
We're going to put
it's-
an email out in the next couple hours that has all the links, a copy, YouTube. Our January, our episode in January is not going to be the first Thursday. It'll be the second Thursday because I think the first Thursday is like January 2nd. So it'll be, I think, the 9th. Of that.
On that note, John, Happier Human will be the first Thursday because we're not doing it on New Year's Day. So the first call of the year, if anyone wants to sign up for January.
So wait, on Wednesday or Thursday?
We're going to do it on Thursday because Wednesday is going to be New Year's Day.
So you're just going to do it Thursday. Perfect. Then we're not going to conflict. Perfect.
Perfect. I was a little worried about
in January, Tracy Hooper is speaking, and she is absolutely phenomenal.
She is. And thank you, Betty, for the introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Skye.
All right,
so
guys.
much.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
holidays,
Skye.
What about the 6 at 6?
Oh, we
never
need a quick
drove him.
rapid fire 6 at 6.
Never rapid fired him.
Are you
before.
ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, do it, Tanya.
Okay, I think the first one everybody wants to know is who was your first celebrity crush?
My first celebrity childhood crush.
Oh, come on. You should have been prepared.
There's so many. All right, Cindy Crawford was like, I was really young, but that was like the one I was like, ooh, that was the first
Pepsi
time.
commercials?
Yeah, like
Yeah. Okay, if you could go anywhere in time, back or future, where would it be and why?
I'll go to 1932, FDR getting elected, and being able to experience what the country was going through in that time frame.
Nice. Yeah, I should have guessed that. Historian.
Yeah, FDR High School. He's my favorite president. So,
all right, if you could pick a vacation spot, would it be a mountain house or a beach house?
beach. I'm a water guy. I love the mountains, all good, but I don't ski. I don't, I'm not snow. And again, I know there's other activities, but I'm a beach. Put me on a beach, put me next to water. Makes me happy. I'm going to live on a boat.
We got a giant coastline of it.
I know.
All right, favorite dessert.
Not a big dessert guy, but if I'm going to get a dessert, it's going to be a Reese's Pieces sundae from Friendly's for anyone on the East Coast.
Wow.
Yeah, Friendly's. So that's my favorite.
Nice. Okay, and I think we all know this. Are we a morning person or a night person?
Ironically, Tanya, I'm both.
Yeah.
I can go both. If anyone has ever been at a retreat, I can go all night.
That's me too.
I can wake up in the morning. So I love both. Different aspects to me. So
agreed. Well, thank you very much. We're very excited. Okay, and last one. What are you doing right after this call?
I have a coaching call that I'm hopping on to from one of my clients.
We will let you go. Thank you.
Bye.
again.